Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we'll be going over another one of my 60 card casual decks. And today's, this one's featuring ninjas. What much more really starting to say. Everybody generally knows how, the ninjas kind of work there. You're doing a bunch of ninjutsu kind of stuff. And that being said, I'm just going to end up going right into this. Starting off with 2 copies of Moon Circuit Hacker, which Moon Circuit Hacker is a 2/1 with ninjutsu of 1 blue. Whenever Moon Circuit Hacker deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card unless Moon Circuit Hacker entered the battlefield this turn. After that, we have 2 copies of Coiling Stalker. It's a 2/1 ninjutsu of 1 and a green. Whenever Coiling Stalker deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control that doesn't have a +1/+1 counter on it. After that, we have 2 copies of Fang of Shigeki. So 1/1 Death Touch. Next up after that, one second. We have Covert Technician. It's a 2/4 with ninjutsu, 1 and a blue. Whenever Covert Technician deals combat damage to a player, you may put an artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the damage from your hand onto the battlefield. 2 of those. And then we got 2 of the Dokuchi Silencer, or Dokochi, whatever. It's a 2/1 ninjutsu of 1 and a black. Whenever Dokochi Silencer deals combat damage to a player, you may discard a creature card. When you do, destroy target creature or planeswalker that player controls. Next up, we have Nezumi Prowler. It's a 3/1 ninjutsu of 1 and a black. When Nezumi Prowler enters the battlefield, target creature you control gains Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. After that, we have Makotai Ambusher. It's a 3/2 ninjutsu of 1 and a black. It's lifelink. After that, we have 2 copies of Moon Snare Specialist. It's a 2/2 with ninjutsu of 2 and a blue. When Moon Snare Specialist enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand. Then we have ourselves Inkrise Infiltrator. So 1/2 flying. You can pay 3 and a black. Inkrise Infiltrator gets +2/+2 until end of turn. 2 copies of that there. Then we got ourselves 2 Kappa Tech Wreckers. So 1/3 with ninjutsu of 1 and a green. Kappa Tech Wrecker enters the battlefield with a Death Touch counter on it. Whenever Kappa Tech Wrecker deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a Death Touch counter from it. If you do, exile a target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Next up, we have 2 copies of the Silver Fur Master. It's a 2/2 ninjutsu of a blue and a black. Ninjutsu abilities you activate cost 1 less colorless to activate. Other ninja and rogue creatures you control get +1/+1. Then we got ourselves a few singletons here. We have Nashi Moon Sage's Scion. It's a 3/2 ninjutsu of 3 and a black. When Nashi Moon Sage's Scion deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of each player's library. Until end of turn, you may play one of those cards If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to the mana value rather than paying its mana cost. Next up, we just have ourselves a Kochi Shadow Walker. It's a 5/5 with ninjutsu 3 and a black. Bite Palm Ninja 3/3 ninjutsu of 2 and a black. Bite Palm Ninja enters the battlefield with a mass counter on it. When Bite Palm Ninja deals combat damage to a player, you may remove a mass counter from it. If you do, that player reveals their hand and you choose a non-land card from them. Exile that card. And then finally for our creatures, we have Kotose the Silent Spider. She's a 4/4. When Kotose the Silent Spider enters the battlefield, exile target card other than a basic land from opponent's graveyard. Search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for a number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles. For as long as you control Kotose, you may play one of the exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. Moving on to our spells here. We have 4 copies of Rampant Growth. Search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. 2 copies of Invoke Despair. Target opponent sacrifices a creature. If they can't, they lose 2 life and you draw a card. Then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. Then we got 2 copies of Snake Umbra. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, you may draw a card. It has Totem Armor. Next up, we have 1 with the Kami. Flash, enchant creature you control. Whenever enchanted creature or another modified creature you control dies, create X 1/1 colorless spirit creature tokens, where X is that creature's power. Next up, we have 2 copies of Sword of Vengeance. Equip creature gets +2/+0. Has first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Equip cost of 3 colorless. And then we have 2 copies of Bone Horde. Living Weapon. Equip creature gets +X/+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards. And equip cost of 2 colorless. Down to our lands. We have 6 swamps, 4 forests, 4 islands, and then for non-basics we have Exotic Orchard. Tap, add 1 mana of any color of the land that opponent controls could produce. Takanuma, Abandoned Mire. It could be tapped for a black or channel for 3 and a black. Discard Takanuma Abandoned Mire. Mill 3 cards, then return a creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less to activate for each legendary creature you control. Then we got Oran-Riff the Vastwood. Oran-Riff the Vastwood enters the battlefield tapped. You can tap it for a green, or tap it and put +1/+1 counter on each green creature that entered the battlefield this turn. Jungle Hollow enters the battlefield tapped. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. You can tap it for a black or a green. Dismal Backwater. Same as Jungle Hollow there. Enters tapped. I gain a life when it enters. And then I can tap it for either a blue or a black. And continuing on that whole path. Thornwood Falls. Enters tapped. I gain a life when it enters. And I can tap it for a green or blue. And with that, that brings this deck to a close. Hope y'all enjoyed getting a look into my ninja deck. Thank y'all for joining me, and hope to see you in the next one. Peace.